Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Adams, and as always, my co-host joining me today.
You are Mike Adams. Hey, what's up?
Hey, just like to remind everybody, we are part of the Outdoor Radio Networks. Go over to their website and check out the other outdoor-related type podcasts. Well, today's Easter Sunday. I hope everybody had a good Easter. Hope nobody shot the Easter Bunny.
Yeah. I know we got some rabbit meat in the freezer.
Yeah, not from the Easter Bunny, though. So you guys keep the lead away from him. You know, the kids don't appreciate that. But, no, we had a good week here at the Up North Journal. We've did quite a bit here the last part of the week, and it's been another fun-filled, eventful week for us.
Actually, the weather's been pretty good to us this week.
It has been. You know, finally, I think spring's finally starting to spring, so to speak. And, you know, we did have a little bit of snow. What night was it? Thursday night?
Friday night.
Friday night. Yeah, we had snow. Snow Friday night. But most of that's melted off now.
It was only about an inch.
Well, here it was. Down south here of us, about half hour, 45 minutes south here, down towards the state line, they got over a foot of snow in southern Michigan. So those poor guys got hammered.
Yeah.
So no offense to anybody down there. I know there's a couple guys over towards Kalamazoo that listen to the show. Sorry you got all that snow, guys, but I'm glad we didn't get it here.
Yeah.
Hopefully that, you know, spring's just around the corner, even though it's officially spring now. Still a little cold weather, but, you know, the ducks are flying, the geese are flying. We're starting to see more of those. We saw some of them this week. Yesterday we went out and fed some ducks. Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
I actually wanted to strangle a few of them, grab them by the throat and say, hey, listen here, buddy. I know where you live, and I'll see you in October. But, yeah, it was cool. Got some nice pictures of some up real close.
Yeah, I think they look like paintings.
You know, we'll have to throw some of them up on one of our web blogs or website or something and let you guys check those out. But, yeah, it was a pretty good weekend. And we kind of started things off. Well, we had planned on doing a coyote hunt. What was that, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
and we had some bad weather and got snowed out on that deal. And it was actually going to be a coyote hunt that we were going to take some guys with us. Quote unquote, my first official time out guiding, if you want to call it that. I wasn't going to actively hunt. I was going to call and set up. So we finally put that together this week, got that planned. We had some good weather. And we got out on Good Friday morning because you had school off.
Yeah, and actually we took 2 of my teachers.
Yeah, we took 2 of Michael's teachers with us.
It's kind of weird being out in the woods with guns with your teachers.
Well, only if you're a bad student.
Yeah.
Have you been a bad student?
No.
So,
not in their classes.
Not in their class, okay. Yeah, you know what I really thought was unique about the whole deal? I mean, obviously, you know, you got to go out with your teachers, but I think it gave you an opportunity to see, you know, the educators or teachers, whatever you want to call them. You got to see those people in a setting other than being in school. You know, I mean, these guys are just like any other guy. You know, they do normal stuff. You know, they like to hunt, they like to fish, and get in the outdoors and have fun with us just like every other guy does, you know.
Everyone thinks that they live at school.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the only time you see them there. Yeah. So, you know, you see them as, you know, the evil teacher or whatever. I mean, obviously you talk a lot of hunting and fishing with these 2 guys, so you've got a special relationship with them that probably most kids really don't have with their teachers. So, and that makes it easier in school for you too, I imagine, being able to
just be able to socialize with them better.
Yeah, so and it makes you enjoy their classes that much more too, I imagine. So you got to give them teach a little hunting and fishing in there too. But we took 2 of Michael's teachers. What classes do they teach?
U.S. history and Project Lead the Way, which is like a computer class.
Okay, so 2 pretty good classes you got. That you know, history. I used to like history, still do like history, but you know, I can see kids not really getting into that. Yeah. But that's cool.
It actually kind of turned into a surprise parent-teacher conference. Yeah, we left
that morning on the way down to the area. You know, it was still before daylight. We're driving down the highway, and we're talking small talk, and all of a sudden I just kind of threw it out there. It's like, so, how's Mike been doing in school? Does he deserve to go hunting with us today, or should he be staying home studying? But they said you deserve to go, so it was a good time. But, we got down. We went down to the Brighton Rec area that we normally hunt for deer down there and small game hunt, and did a little coyote hunting. And
it was pretty cold out that morning.
We got out there early, right at daybreak, and we got up to our first post where we were going to set up, and got out there. We put Michael up on top of a ridge, and then me and the 2 teachers took off down the ridge a little ways, and one of them was going to walk on down past where we were at, because I was going to sit in the middle of the ridge and actually go to the bottom of the hill down the ravine and call and let all three of you set up on top. So I got ready to go down that ridge, and I'm there with one of your teachers, and all of a sudden you hear off in the distance, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." I'm like, whoa, man.
Mm-hmm.
You get to hear that coyote
Yeah.
ripping one off out there, out in front of us a little ways, and I'm like, man, that's okay. It's going to be a good morning, good sign already. Right at daybreak, and you're hearing one cut loose. So I scampered down the ravine, and man, there's still ice and snow in the hollows, and on the hillside, certain hillsides, and it was a little rough getting down there. I slipped and fell a couple times trying to scamper down the ridge, and got set up and everything, and started calling, and wasn't getting any reaction back, using the howler. I was sitting there in between calls, and about 15 yards out in front of me, I started watching this little chipmunk pops his head out of an old rotted stump, and he comes out on a log, and he scurries around. He's sitting there. He's eating something, I don't know, his morning breakfast, probably a nut or something he'd buried, and he's doing his thing on that, and I'm watching him. I'm like, I'm going to see if I can scare him, So I reach over and I hit that coyote howler calling. And that thing, it didn't take a half a second, man. He busted down that tree limb back into that stump. It's like, man, I'm out of here. I am not waiting around for that coyote. So that was kind of fun. And, we didn't have any luck there. So after about 30 minutes, we packed up, and I tried to get back up the ridge. Man, I busted myself pretty good coming up there. It was still slippery and real steep, and managed to get up, and we got back all together and everything, and went over to another spot on the other side of the road that we were hunting off of, and went way back in where you and I had went back and did some scouting that one day when we were squirrel hunting.
Yeah.
And
the one more time we unloaded on them crows.
Yeah. So we got up there, and I put them up on the ridge again, and I'm sitting down on the swamp edge, and started calling. Hit the first series of calls, and nothing really, and then I waited 4, 5, 6 minutes and hit the call again, and no more than I turned the call off that I look out across the swamp. There's a little island, kind of little rise in it with some trees and stuff, and off to the edge I saw a flash real quick, and I'm like, whoa, what was that? And I got my attention focused on it real close, and I seen it start moving through the brush real quick, and I said, man, that's either a coyote or a fox. I mean, I just saw it real briefly. I mean, I'm talking maybe 2 seconds, so kind of watching, waiting, didn't see nothing, and give it a period of time, called a couple more times, and our time kind of ran out, and we all got back together again up on top of the ridge, and one of your teachers said, hey, did you see that coyote? I said, well, I saw something I thought was a coyote or a fox. He said, that was a coyote. And I was like, I said, well, why didn't you shoot? Did you see him? Why didn't you shoot? But he saw it. What it had done is it had went back around behind that peninsula, or that island that I was watching, around the back side of it where I couldn't see it, and came out across the other side, and it went across the swamp. And by the time he'd actually saw it, it was halfway across out in the open, and it was just too far of a shot for him to take.
Plus, he had his scope covers on.
Oh, he did?
Didn't help much.
Yeah, so he wasn't.
Yeah, he had like them ones that I got on my banner that I took off.
Oh, the flip-ups.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was sitting there, but he was ready, but he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Okay. So that he said it was a long ways off too by the time he caught it, but he said it was definitely a coyote. So, we called one in, and
Actually,
we
I
heard
didn't
the one.
see it. I was asleep.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do to this guy. You take him out in the woods and he falls asleep on me, but you got to be awake to see him and shoot him. So. Anyway, we went to a third stand or a place and set up where we had heard and seen signs of something before over where we deer hunt.
Right by our tree stands, wasn't it?
Yeah, yep, right in between a couple different stands that we've been using. So I set up, and we got everybody up on the ridge, and actually this time I sat right in the middle of the ridge, up on the high side, and just a little different setup, and started calling, and actually on the way in we saw a turkey up on one of the ridges.
Yeah, we saw about 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah, they were scampering up another ridge, and so that's exactly where we're going to turkey hunt. So that was a good sign to see those here right before season. And then
there's a lot of turkey tracks in that ridge there where the two ridges meet and down at the bottom of that swamp.
Yeah. So we got everything set up, and I started to call again. And off in the distance, I could hear a big flight of geese coming. And I'm watching them, and I can see them in the distance coming. I'm like, wow, man, there's about 50 geese in big old V formation, So I'm watching, they're honking, honk, 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 here they come. And all of a sudden I could tell they were right about treetop level, and they got closer and I could hear wing beats. I mean, that's how close they were. It was pretty cool. And they're flying right over me, so I tip my head straight up and I'm looking at them as they fly overhead. And about that time I thought, man, I hope they don't take a doo-doo. And all of a sudden I tipped my head back down and plop, 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 all around, all the way around me. Didn't get me, but they tried. So that
the bomb squad.
Yeah, like you turkeys, man. If I'd have had my shotgun, I'd have put some lead on you. So, but we had a good morning. It was a good time to get out. We threw some calls out there, saw a coyote and heard one. So that ain't all bad. I've heard that.
Saw 2 raccoons too.
Yeah, seen 2 raccoons, and we saw some game while we were out there. That's the key thing. Got out in the woods. It was a nice sunny. It wasn't real sunny, but sun was breaking through the clouds, and it got fairly warm. It wasn't cold, but it was a good day to be out in the woods.
What was kind of funny that your taxidermist said is usually you don't see one but your first 15 trips out.
Yeah, he said typically here in southern Michigan that the pressure is so heavy on the coyotes that when you get out and hunt them, he said it might take you 15 to 20 trips before you'll even see one. And, we took out your teachers. That was their first coyote hunt, first time out, and we heard one and seen one, And I've probably hunted at least 10 to 15 times. I've hunted them. And I've only seen a handful. I mean, just a very few handful of them.
I probably would have seen that one if I was awake, and that would have been my 3rd time out.
Yeah. Had you been awake.
Yeah.
Not sawing logs, but another thing that the taxidermist told us, too, that, down here, I mean, everybody, it's the new thing here in Michigan, and I'm assuming everywhere else, too, across the United States. People are looking for different ways to get out and hunt at different times of the year. And this time of the year is a good time for coyote hunting, here in the Midwest, because there's really not a lot else going on.
Besides ice fishing.
Yeah, ice fishing. And then once, like this time of year, ice fishing's done. The ice is bad.
Actually, I saw a guy out yesterday. I thought he was crazy.
Well, there's a few hardcore people still left, and there's no way I would get on the ice right now. We actually lost a fisherman a couple weeks back out on the bay who fell through, and they actually got him to the hospital, but he later died. But yeah, if you guys are thinking about ice fishing right now and you're in this area, stay off the ice. We've had a lot of warm weather, we've had a lot of rain, and it's really eating ice up quick. But anyway, back to the coyote hunting. Guys are really getting after them around this area. So they're getting a lot of howling calls. They're using a lot of rabbit distress calls, a lot of mouse squeakers. So coyotes are starting to get, privy to this. They're like, hey, wait, I've heard that before. Last time I heard the gunshots. So they're starting to shy away from certain calls. And my taxidermist told me that a lot of the guys hunting now are using a woodpecker distress call. He said the guys are having a lot of luck with those. He said, they hit them, and if there's one area, man, bam, they're right there. Because that's something they haven't heard and been shot at with. So it's something a little different, a little unique.
Well, what you said you were going to try is crow distress.
Yeah, I thought about using a crow call, Maybe using a rabbit call and then turn around and coming right back with a crow call. Thinking, okay, we got something down, something's dead, and crows are coming in on it. Maybe the coyote would associate both of them together, thinking, hey, crows are over there feasting. I'm going to go over and bust them and take their meal from them. So we didn't do that, but it's just something I've been thinking about. And I may try to see how that works out. I don't know. We'll see. But something else that happened to me out there that, forewarning, guys, this is an important, very, very important tip. For anybody that uses an e-caller or electronic game call in any capacity, whether it be for coyotes, for turkeys, if you can use them for turkeys in your state, you can't here in Michigan. Maybe you're crow hunting, you got an e-caller or whatever, but guys are using these electronic game calls. Well, when I go out in the woods, I don't take a watch with me. I take my cell phone, but I turn the ringer completely off, okay? And I stick it down in my pocket. And when I, need to see what time it is, I'll pull it out and I'll look at it. Because I like to have a cell phone with me in case I get into trouble. That way I can call 911 and get help to where I need it. So I've got my cell phone in my pocket, and I turn the e-collar on, and I always start with the volume low, so it doesn't just start blaring. And I start to turn the volume up on it. And I hear this, it's interference on the horn. I'm like, wait, what? Have I got a bad tape or what? So I turn it back down, turn it back up, same thing. And I got to thinking, I've got my cell phone in my pocket.
He does it all the time with their computers.
Exactly, because you've got that speaker right there. It acts as a receiver, and it's picking up the interference off of a cell phone signal trying to connect to the tower. And if you guys don't understand what I'm talking about, take and turn your cell phone on next time you're on the computer and lay it next to your speaker that you got for your computer. And just let it sit there for a half hour or so. And when it starts to try to connect every so often with the cell tower, it'll pick up interference and it'll buzz through your speakers. And that's exactly what it was doing on that e-collar.
I left my speakers on like that, and I put my cell phone next to him one night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes a
it
terrible
woke me
noise.
up.
So luckily I didn't have that thing turned wide open. You know, I had it turned down so low that I could barely hear it, and I picked up on it right away. So if you're out using e-collars in the woods, and for any reason you got a cell phone on you, turn it off, because it will interfere with your electronic game call.
With our e-collar, did you have it out off the base, the speaker?
The first time I did, and the next two times I just had it. Well, the next time I had it sitting on a log, kind of away from me, just at arm's length. And the next time I had it up real close to me, and that's where I heard it.
Yeah, that thing echoes.
So,
really loud.
Yeah, that's the one thing you guys were telling me, that you could hear it bouncing.
Yeah, with the second time that you said it had an arm length, it sounded like it was like in the other side of the rack area.
Yeah, it thing really throws a good sound. It carries a long way. As a matter of fact, when I was down in the hollow the first time, everybody, your two teachers are saying that, man, I had to really listen because I thought it was another pack of coyotes.
But you could
calling.
hear the pattern.
Yeah, and they said they could hear the cadence and the pattern repeating, thinking that it, then they picked up. But at first they thought it was way off in the distance.
Yeah.
It just carries so far,
Especially if you have it turned up all the way.
Well, I didn't. I vary it. When I'm calling, I'll start it low, and I'll take it up about halfway and then bring it back a little bit and take it up a little more, and I vary it back and forth so it's just not a constant sound carrying in one direction. And if I've got the horn near me, if I got it on the actual collar itself, when I'm calling, I'll actually turn it just a little bit every now and then so it throws that sound in different directions as to where it just doesn't sound like the same thing.
So maybe like chasing rabbit or something.
Yeah, whatever. It just gives it makes it sound different out, when it's out away from you. If there's an animal out there listening to it, that he doesn't hear the same thing over and over and over again. Maybe a little quieter. It may be bouncing from a different direction, like there's movement or whatever. So it's just something a little different to try to, throw them a little bit and, give them something else to think about. So that was our Friday morning coyote hunt. We finally got one in, and it worked out pretty well. But, hey, listen, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back, and we'll cover a couple more things we did this week. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
If you're looking for the best in outdoor hunting and fishing podcasts, look no further than the Outdoor Radio Network. Each week we have dozens of podcasts devoted to outdoor sports, with shows like On the Water with Bob Murray, Bass Champ Journal, Surf and Shore Fishing, just to name a few. Check out all outdoor podcasts on the OutdoorRadioNetwork.com.
Welcome back, everybody, and we just got done talking a little bit about coyote hunting, Michael. For those of you who've been listening to the show here lately, you know that I got my first coyote back in January. Well, this weekend, I got it back.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And I'd like to introduce our newest member of the show, who is sitting over in the corner.
The studio.
Little coyote over here.
I don't think that thing's little.
Got my mount back from taxidermist this weekend, and I'll be putting some pictures up on the blog site so you guys can check it out. But real happy with the way it turned out. It turned out awesome, and I figured no better place to put it than right here in the office with us, so it can be here each and every week during the Up North Journal, doing the show with us.
Yeah.
So, but I'm real excited about it. It looks good. taxidermist did a fabulous job with it, and I was really excited to get that back. So, yeah, we got another member sitting in here. Although he won't be saying a whole lot on the show.
She
won't be saying a whole lot on the show. But yeah, he did a beautiful job on it. And I'm pleased with it. I couldn't be more happy than the way he did it and the way it turned out. And the mount that he used on it, the mannequin, is from Mackenzie Mounts, or Mackenzie Taxidermy. And actually, Michael, you've thought a little bit about getting into this.
Yeah, actually, we got a squirrel in the freezer. I'm gonna start to do. I just gotta order some knives and a kit and a video on how to do it.
Yeah, we're gonna get that taken care of. Hopefully here, maybe even tonight, we'll get that ordered. Actually, I mean, as bad as this sounds, found a roadkill.
Yeah.
Actually saw one that had been hit. I would say it was way less than 24 hours, and it was really cold out. So it was still in good condition, and it
I looked
wasn't.
him in the freezer, and it's just like his left face is kind of the left side of his face is just kind of manged out.
Yeah, he didn't get crushed. I think what happens, he bounced off a tire or something. He got rolled basically when you hit him, and it rolls him. And it's just going to take some combing out, get him combed out after we skin him and everything, get him combed out and make him look good. And yeah, we're going to get you started on that. And he's a nice big one too.
Yeah, he's a big one.
So
we're putting him in my room.
That may be a little bit of Mikey's game bag stuff coming up that you're going to get to work on. So, but yeah, that's kind of exciting. Maybe
didn't he say he worked a long time on that because he couldn't get the skin on the mannequin or something?
Yeah, he said the top part fit perfectly, just like he had hoped, but the back, the back hip area wasn't quite like he'd wanted it on the mannequin. I mean, the mannequin was just a little bit bigger, so he had to do some shaving and carving to get that to fit the way he wanted it. But man, it's so lifelike. The Mackenzie mounts, the muscle structure on the mannequins are just unbelievable the way they look. I mean, it looks like the real deal sitting there. I mean, I think
when you turn around, it scares you.
I think he's going to jump on your shoulder here in a minute. So. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm really happy the way it turned out. So, like I said, we'll put the pictures up on the blog site so you guys can check it out and see what it looked like and how it turned out. You know, I've got the before pictures up there. You know, when I shot it, so you can compare and contrast the two. Maybe I'll even throw them back up there again and put them side by side. So. But, yeah, got the mount back, and that was part of the weekend deal. And, you know, we did the coyote hunt. And then yesterday we went out to the gun range. Actually, we were going to go crow hunting in the morning. But,
Grandpa kind of messed that up.
Yeah, my dad called and needed some help. And what turned out to be a few minutes worth of help turned out to be a 4-hour ordeal and kind of put a kibosh on the day. So instead of going crow hunting in the morning, we decided just take the guns, go over to the gun range.
Yeah.
And we went over there and did a little bit of target shooting with the small bore rifles. And
Chuck's in love with that 10-22, my 22 mag in your Hornet.
Yeah, we took the 22s and 22 mags out and the Hornet out and shot them. And my buddy Chuck went with us. And that was the first time he'd shot a rifle, isn't it? Isn't that what he said?
So.
The first time he'd ever shot he shot shotguns but never shot a rifle. He's new to hunting and the outdoor stuff and kind of getting into it, so we took him with us and went over and shot some trap. And as I mentioned here on the show the last couple of weeks, we're testing one of those camera mounts. And for those of you who remember, a couple weeks back we got one of these things to field test from Elusive Wildlife Technologies, and they sent one out for us, and we actually put it on the gun yesterday, put it on the shotgun. I mounted it up on the Remington 870 pump, 12 gauge, and it went on so easy, it was unbelievable. The thing mounts relatively easily. I mean, you unscrew the cap on the end of where the pump is on the magazine tube and put it back on. I mean, that's all there is to it. And you mount your camera on the base. And the one thing that I was concerned about actually turned out to be true was I was worried about the shock value on the camera, you know, and the video quality and everything. And it's no fault of the camera mount. It's just the nature of the fact of how powerful these guns are. Now, what we were doing, we were shooting trap.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put some video up, and I'll link it to the website or to the blog site. You guys can check it out so we can see. You know,
see how bad he was.
I wasn't that bad. I hit most of them. I didn't hit them all.
Yeah.
But the one thing it did do when you shoot, I mean, it followed the bird up fine. I mean, it pointed right in the direction. You could see the flight of the bird as I'm following it with the end of the barrel. And when you shoot, there's just a slight glitch in the video. It's just because, the gun hammers so hard, even though it's got this spring recoil system on it, to keep, I imagine the distortion would be far more worse if it didn't have this on there to help, cushion the blow on the recoil. And I'm talking, it's just a fraction of a second. You see just a little bit of breakup. And I imagine that's just from the actual videotape when it's rolling across the video record head, that impact of the gun recoiling, it gives it that momentary little shock that it kind of grabs hold of it. But, it's not bad. I mean, if you're looking to capture, your hunt and being able to capture the actual shot that you're going to take on a game animal, I don't see why it wouldn't work. We're going to, like I said, we're going to take it out into the field with us this year, turkey hunting, and put it on one of the turkey guns.
I think it'd be cool to put it on that 10-22.
Well, we're going to do that too. And actually we just didn't have enough time at the gun range. I was going to put it on one of the rifles because I imagine small bore rifle, it'll handle
22.
Yeah, it'll handle that with no problem. Now, 30-06, 30-30, that might be a different story. So, I want to test it on a bunch of different type of the higher powered caliber
Sounds
firearms.
like a fun day.
Well, hey, it's something else to do, It's the way I look at it. So just stay tuned, throughout the summer and throughout turkey season, we're going to let you know how this thing works. But, for the first time, putting it on a gun and taking it out, it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it mounted very easily. That is the key. It went on quick, take it off quick, and it works. So, if you're looking for something like that, so you can have your hands on the gun instead of worrying about the camera, you can just reach up, hit the record, and bang. There you got it. So, but yeah, we did that at the gun range. That was a good time. Got to shoot some clays, and
Jake did pretty good.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. Sorry about that, Jake. Apologize to my boy. As you guys know, we're taking Jacob out turkey hunting for his first time down to Ohio. Well, he wanted to go to the range, and he wanted to shoot 20 gauge. And actually, we took the little Rossi single-shot 20 gauge that I bought my daughter last year for her birthday.
The one that kicks like a mule.
And the thing kicks pretty hard. And we've talked about that on the show before, too, because the gun's so small, it just doesn't absorb recoil well. And we took it out, and I was like, you guys, you need to be able to shoot the 20 gauge and get used to it a little bit. When we shot them during the summer, we're out there in T-shirts. And there's really no cushion between you and the gun, except for the limb saver pad that we had on them. But, being that it was a little colder out there this time, we had jackets on. And, they were a little apprehensive. And, I said, okay, I'll shoot it first. So I shot it. Then I think you shot it. Chuck shot it. And Jacob, he didn't want anything to do with it. He's like, no, I'm not doing it. Well, my daughter said, give it to me. It's my gun. I'm going to shoot it. So she sat down on the bench, and she cracked one off, and the gun jumped. I mean, it had some muzzle jump to it. But she's like, that wasn't bad. Load another one up. So she shot again. Load another one up. And she shot a third time. Well, Jacob couldn't let his sister outdo him, so he's like, all right, I'm doing it. So he gets down there. He gets down on the shooting bench and everything, aims, and he takes his shot. And, he's like, oh, wow, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Okay, load up another one. So he could handle it. And then we went to the trap field. And the gun is really light enough to where he can handle it well to shoot trap. And he's like, "Oh, I want to shoot some clays." Okay, he's never really got out and actively shot him before without any help. So he's standing on the line, and we throw one up. First one, he aims, bang, busts the clay. I mean, I was really proud of him. I'm like, wow, that was impressive. And we threw two more up, and he just shot just over top of him. You could see the wadding carrying just over the top of the clay. So. We were doing 3 shots at a time. We come back around to his second turn, and threw the first one up, bang, he broke that one. The second one up, bang, he broke that one. The third one he did miss, but
I've made a duck hunter out of him.
Oh man, I think he's going to be a duck hunter. I really do. I mean, for a 9-year-old kid to go up there with a 20 gauge, and really the first time he hasn't actively had somebody helping him hold the gun up to where he could shoot it. I mean, just to do it by himself, he took 3 out of 6 shots. He broke 3 out of 6 clays. And
he probably used that gun during duck season.
Yeah, I was really impressed and proud of him. So, hats off and clap to him, man. I was really proud. I mean, you couldn't feel any better
Yeah.
for a kid being your own kid, you know.
Just turn around, he's got like a huge shirt on his face.
Oh yeah. It makes a dad proud.
And then he
So.
came over to me, he's like, "Give me some of that."
Yeah, high five and the whole 9 yards. It was a good time. It was a good day out the gun range. So, but yeah, that was our weekend.
Yeah.
You know, coyote hunt, gun range. Got the coyote mount back, and now we're sitting here talking to you guys out there. So we had a good week. It's been fun filled. So, hey, well, listen. You know what? Let's take a quick break, Michael, and we'll come back and we'll do game back. I got a little bit of outdoor news and a couple of little tidbits, and we'll wrap up the show. What do you think?
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
If you're looking for the best in outdoor hunting and fishing podcasts, look no further than the Outdoor Radio Network. Each week we have dozens of podcasts devoted to outdoor sports, with shows like On the Water with Bob Murray, Bass Champ Journal, Surf and Shore Fishing, just to name a few. Check out all outdoor podcasts on the OutdoorRadioNetwork.com.
Welcome back, everybody. And before we get into Mikey's game bag, I want to go over some outdoor news of the week this week. We've got some really controversial issues coming, and I think it's important to get these out so everybody can be aware of what's going on. As everybody knows, we've had the Supreme Court this last week heard the case on Second Amendment, and we're battling on that front. And on the state level, there's some stuff that's come up this week that I think deserves attention as well. And as always, probably the most controversial state's California. And they've got two different things going on out there. And the first one is they have a bill that is going to be heard on the restriction of ammunition sales. And I want to give you just the nuts and bolts of it real quick, but it's Assembly Bill 2062. And if this thing's passed, it's going to require that law-abiding gun owners obtain a permit to buy a handgun ammunition. And it would also impose severe restrictions on the private transfer of handgun ammunition. Anybody who wanted to buy ammunition for a handgun must apply for a permit to purchase. And this would be required, and you'd have to submit to a background check and pay a $35 fee and wait as long as 30 days to receive the permit. And also, it'd make it unlawful to privately transfer more than 50 rounds of ammunition per month between family and friends or a private individual. So, Michael, if I wanted to give you some ammunition for a handgun or sell you some, if I had some extra, I couldn't do any more than 50 rounds if this law were to pass and we lived in California.
For only that month.
Well, ever. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy that you would have to actually buy or go get a permit, submit to a background check, and get a permit just to buy ammunition. So, I mean, and then it's going to require the people who sell the ammunition to keep a record of the amount of ammunition you buy, your name, your driver's license number, the quantity, the caliber, and the type that you purchase. Also, along with your right thumbprint. And it would be submitted to the Department of Justice.
Every time you buy?
Yes. And also, this is the kicker on it. It says all ammunition sales in the state of California would be subject to a $3 transaction tax. So they're taxing you on top of it. It's just, man, it's getting out of hand, people. That you'd actually have to, you got to get a permit to get a handgun anyway. Now they're wanting you to get a permit to buy ammunition to go for the handgun. It's just another way to track things down and keep you under rule and under their thumb to make sure that they know where all this stuff's going. And how's that going to stop crime? I mean, that's the reason they say. So
He will just do it illegally anyways.
exactly. You know, and they got the micro-stamping bill that they had passed. And I'm going to get more into that here in just a second. But, yeah, it's getting crazy. Now, if you remember back a couple months ago, they had the lead ammunition ban, and they expanded it to cover certain types of ammunition beyond the scope of what they originally did. Well, now they're wanting to expand it again. Now they're wanting to use that same bill would restrict the use of lead-cord centerfire rifle cartridges in certain areas of the state for hunting and taking of non-game animals. And the new proposal would expand the scope to include ammunition for black powder firearms, pistols, and rimfire cartridges. And we talked about the 22.
Yeah.
So they're going after everything. So you're not going to be able to use a muzzleloader in these areas. Basically, it's going to take that away unless you can come up with a non-lead alternative. Same with pistols and, like I say, the small caliber rimfire cartridges. So it's just another way for them to keep cramming this stuff down their throat and trying to take away hunting from our outdoorsmen. So that's California. Now let's get on to Connecticut. And we all had heard a couple weeks back when I talked about the microstamping legislation that was before them. Now they're wanting to carry a couple other things a little further here. And basically what they're wanting to do is expand this to require all ammunition sold in the state of Connecticut to be coded with an individual serial number, which will be called an ammunition serialization, and entered into a statewide database at the time of sale. The encoded ammunition would also be registered to the purchaser and would include the date of transaction, the purchaser's name, date of birth, driver's license number, and the serial number of the ammunition. This goes a step further. All unserialized ammunition would have to be forfeited. So let's say our good buddy out there in Connecticut, Bob Rich, and he's got some ammunition that he's bought, and maybe he got it on sale. So he bought, a couple, 3 or 4 or 5 boxes of it because he likes to target shoot. Well, now if this law passes, he has to forfeit by law that ammunition if this passes. Is he going to be compensated for it? Probably not. How are they going to come get it? They're going to come knocking on his door and make him forfeit what he's got, or has he got to claim it? And if a person gets caught with this ammunition, what's going to happen to him then? They're going to pass a law that's going to criminalize every person that has ammunition in their possession if they don't turn it in. This is communism. They're coming after people that have not broken a law if this thing passes. They're going to make people criminals by passing this law if it does pass. Okay? Now, and also, like I said, we talked about the microstamping that they're wanting to do there. It's the basic serialization of the ammunition itself on the cases. Then they're going to have the guns microstamp the gun serial number onto the primer case. So it's 2 different ways. They're going to know who that ammunition belonged to. Then they're going to know what gun fired that ammunition. So it's a double whammy there if they get these laws passed.
Yeah, but what if the gun gets stolen?
You're supposed to report it stolen. That's the problem with all these things. It's just a big mess. Okay, now moving along. I told you I got some hot topics this week. It's not good news. Now moving on to the state of Illinois, and everybody knows what's going on over there. They're up in Cook County. They're anti-gun, huge anti-gun area up there. They're trying to outlaw pheasant hunting in that state on the game preserves, and that's a whole other issue that's going on up there right now. But in Cook County, I'm going to give you a phone number, guys. So if you don't get it wrote down by the time I get to it right here, make sure you get a pen and paper and come back and get this number, okay? And I'm going to read this real quick to you. Cook County Commissioner Larry Suffredin and the Cook County Board is conducting a telephone poll where callers can voice their opinion on the ordinance that would close all gun shops as well as ban and confiscate most firearms owned by citizens of the county. We must not stand idle. The future of the Second Amendment in Cook County and Illinois depends on this. Take the time, call in, and make your voice be heard, and let them know that you oppose the erroneous attacks on our Second Amendment freedoms. Now, this is important. You do not have to be a resident of Cook County to partake in this phone poll. To vote in the telephone poll, you got to call. This is the number. Dial 1, area code 312-603-6400. And there's a couple different telephone prompts that you'll hear. You want to select option 1 on the first prompt, and at the next prompt, select option 1 again. When prompted to vote on the gun control ordinance, press the number 2. And finally, forward this number to as many of your friends, family, and fellow gun owners and urge them to do the same. So every person that's heard this now can call in and they can, through this telephone prompting system, they can let their voice be heard on this poll. And you think, well, why do I want to help out Cook County and people in Illinois?
It will spread.
It's already happening. It happened in California. Microstamping. Now it's going to Connecticut. And there's a couple other places that are trying to get microstamping. The lead ammunition ban in California. Okay, it happened there. They tried to get it in Arizona. They're trying to get it in Minnesota. They tried to get it in Massachusetts and New Jersey. Okay, these things spread like wildfire. We've got to band together as fellow gun owners, fellow outdoorsmen, hunters and fishermen, and protect our rights. So it's very, very, very important. Guys, take that number. If you didn't get it the first time, let me repeat it. It's area code 312-603-6400. And if you still don't have it, replay the podcast again and get this number. Matter of fact, if you don't have it, email me, and I will personally email you back and make sure you get it. And it's first prompt, press 1. Second prompt, press 1. Third prompt, press 2. And that lets them know that you do not want them to be taking away your rights and your gun rights as an American. Okay, I mean it's basically for Cook County, Illinois, but if we get enough people to call in and bombard these people with the fact and know that we are going to stand up and fight this, it's going to help. Okay, and if they're going to let us do a phone poll, why not? Why not help out our guys over there? Okay, and just like I told you a minute ago, Michael, about the banning of lead shot, Minnesota, right now, they have a bill on the floor. It's Senate Bill 3385, and they are trying to ban lead shot in that state also for all game animals on state land. So that's another state that's taken this thing that's passed over in California, and they're taking a run at it. Okay. Now, the state of New Jersey, they've got something coming up where they want to pass a bill that will only allow people to buy one handgun per month. Okay. And you're like, well, what's so bad about that? Let's say you're a gun collector and there's a matched set of pistols on auction or at a gun store or whatever. It's a matched set. Maybe the serial numbers are, consecutive or whatever, and, you want to buy them. You can't do it. You can only buy one because you can't buy more than one a month. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just one little thing that I thought of off the top of my head, amongst other reasons. It's another way to limit your rights. So that's one thing that's coming up in New Jersey. And also, the state of New Jersey is wanting to impose a microstamping or ammunition encoding registration legislation. This was introduced last week also, and it would require all handgun ammunition manufactured that was sold in New Jersey to be coded with a serialization ammunition number. And it would be registered to the purchaser and would include the date of transaction, the purchaser's name, date of birth, driver's license number, and serial number of the ammunition. And it also make the sale of non-coded serialized ammunition prohibited. Basically you've got to give them everything. Your firstborn, your blood type, sign away all your rights. Also in the state of New York, they got bills out right now that are coming up for votes or to be discussed, I should say, that want to ban the so-called assault weapons. They want to expand the ballistic imaging program, and they want to ban 50 caliber or larger firearms, or they want to ban all 50 caliber firearms, and they want to require child-proof firearms, requiring mandatory storage, and creating new requirements and liability for gun dealers. So this is all getting back at trying to ban certain types of weapons, making you lock them up or making them inaccessible to children. And we should do that. We should make sure that our guns are protected away from kids. We don't want kids getting a hold of them. But making them mandatory that you have them locked or disassembled and put away, you can't protect yourself. Somebody breaks into your house. Excuse me, robber, wait till I put my gun together so I can shoot you. It just doesn't fly. It's basically taking away your right to be able to protect yourself. Okay. And, these are just a few of the things that are going on right now. And what I want to do is the page that I found this on, I'm not going to go through all this because there's probably 20 different states that have gun and hunting legislation going on right now. And I'm going to put the link to this on the website, on the podcast outline where we always put our stuff. So if you guys want to read about what's going on in your state or other states near you, by all means check that out. So With that being said, that's my outdoor news for the week, and now we'll go on to your favorite part of the show.
And now the best part of the show, Mikey's game bag. Well, this week on Mikey's game bag,
Why did you smile when you said that?
I don't know. I
You
just
like-
say it all the time.
You like taunting me, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, well, this week I'm going to be talking more about basics for turkey hunting for a person that wants to start. Just like I was talking about Aaron, how he said that he wanted to start, but he didn't know anything about it, rules and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, we've covered decoys. We've covered
Calls.
types of calls, different
Yeah.
strikers. So, kind of getting into all that. So, okay. So you're going to cover a couple little just extra items that you might need to have in your bag of tricks.
This is basically going to be like an accessory show.
Okay. All right.
Accessory segment.
Need to accessorize
Yeah.
your hunting needs. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a girl's like hair products or something.
Okay. All right. So what are we going to accessorize today?
Okay. One of the basic things that we've bought, I think it was last year, we just started using was Thermacell, and it's something that you mostly need during turkey season.
I couldn't agree with you more. This is probably the most important thing you need next to having camouflage, a gun, and a turkey call.
Yeah.
I think that would be number 4. And explain to everybody why.
This thing is awesome. You can set it down on the ground like on your leg or something, and it has 15 by 15 foot anti-bug zone.
Yeah.
And it has a butane cartridge, and it has like a little insect repellent mat that when the butane heats up like this little heater thing, and it disperses the
scent off the mat. Yeah. So it's an insect repellent device. And like you were saying, it gives you like a 15-foot radius around you that keeps the bugs away. And we're talking like mosquitoes, flies,
ticks,
no-see-ums, anything like that.
Because you can't see them.
That's why they call them no-see-ums, little tiny bugs, chiggers. There's a little mite, especially down in the south. When I was down there in the summer as a kid, spending time down in Alabama, you get these little red dots all over there called chiggers. And it's a little bug, a little mite that bites you, causes these little red bumps on you. So, but, well, tell everybody last year how we used this thing.
The first time we used it was actually in the pop-up blind where there was mosquitoes everywhere. We were going through a field and they were just coming up everywhere.
Oh, there was thousands.
Yeah.
I mean thousands.
Inside the blind, smacking and stuff. And like fire that thing up. We fired it up and it probably wasn't even 5 minutes and they all left.
Yeah, I swear, you could be sitting out in a field. Don't do this, but you could be sitting out in the field butt naked, I think.
I don't know why you'd want to.
And you wouldn't get eat up by mosquitoes. This thing is that good. It works great. And we used it all last year.
Yeah.
And once we had that thing fired up, I don't remember getting one mosquito bite.
Nope.
And not only that, when you're turkey hunting, if you got bugs around you, even if they're not biting you, if they're flying around your eyes and your nose and ears, it's just natural reaction to swat at them.
Yeah.
And you're moving. When you're moving,
if you got turkey in front of you, they're going to see it and they're going to run.
Exactly. So, and this thing doesn't create a smell either.
No. We had that 4-point come in front of us. It was almost right by next to the blind.
Yeah. We had that thing running full bore, and that deer never winded us at all. So, it's a cheap little $20 to $30 item depending on where you buy it. And this thing,
or the pattern, they have some camo pattern and stuff like that.
Yeah, they got a camo. The one we got's green. But you can take it fishing with you and put it in your boat when you're out there fishing.
Actually, we used it when we were actually using building my boat.
Yeah, we put it out there outside one evening when we were working on the boat. You can take it camping with you. Like I say, you can take it to the river when you're fishing or the lake or what have you. And we were going to use this year in the deer blind during bow season in our tree stands, but it got to that point when we were out there, the weather changed so quick that
it was cold and they all left.
Yeah, so we didn't get an opportunity to use it. But I know I heard on the Michigan Sportsman Forum this year, guys that were bear hunting in September were using them. I took mine up with me bear hunting last year, but we didn't have any bugs. I had it with me in case I needed it, but I never had to fire it up. For whatever reason, the bugs just weren't bad this year where we were bear hunting.
Another thing that's good for them, costs about $10, is they have holsters for them, which actually I was thinking about buying. You just strap it around your leg or hook it on to your belt loop or something.
Okay.
And it has the vent on the back so that way it can actually work.
Okay.
And it has a little pouch for your butane, an extra butane cartridge, and I think 3 extra mats.
Okay. So you got all your little goodies there in one
Yeah.
little bag, and it holds it in the whole 9 yards, and you can actually let it run right in the pouch.
Yeah, actually, Kevin had an idea of Velcroing it somehow to your pants.
Yeah, putting some single-sided stick tape Velcro on one of it, and then sewing the other part of the Velcro, or making a Velcro belt, some type of thing to go around your leg, and then sticking it to it so you can walk around with it on you that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of different ways you can use this thing. But
You can just carry it around with you, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's small enough.
It's about as big as a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Small walkie-talkie, yeah.
Or a weather radio, just basic part of it.
Yep. So, it's a good little device. So, what else you want to accessorize this week?
One thing that I bought Friday was a new turkey vest, and that thing's sweet.
Okay. Now, for guys who don't know, is this a vest that has pictures of turkeys on it?
No.
Okay. Well, what is a turkey vest?
It's a camouflage vest that has a whole bunch of compartments on it. It basically looks like one of your tactical combat vests, although mossy oak.
Okay.
And they, most of them have a butt cushion on it, and that's what I made sure that it had when I bought mine.
Okay. You mean like a butt cushion? What is this? Something that's on the back side?
Yeah, it's actually sewed to the bottom of the vest on your backside, and then it straps or ties onto your sides, and you can just release them and let it down.
Okay. Now, for guys who don't really know why you would need one, explain why you need a cushion.
Cushion is because you're gonna be, if you're running and gunning a lot, you're gonna be down on the ground, and you're gonna either get your butt wet or you're just gonna get stuff like twigs shoved up your butt.
Okay, so it's just for comfort.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're sitting, you're literally sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
Especially during, like I said, turkey season. If you're running and gunning, if you're not sitting in a pop-up blind, then you're leaning up against a tree or a rock or something like that, and you need some kind of cushion.
And they got some more complex ones that have actually like a chair frame in the back of them, kind of like wires, so that way it's kind of like a little recliner, and you don't even have to be leaning up against a tree.
Okay, so if you're like maybe up next to a bush, that way you got some back support.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so that's 2 accessories. Anything else you can think of?
Call cases that you can actually clip onto your turkey vest, but I'm not
Okay.
going to do that this year.
Okay.
Because actually I don't know why I did it, but I bought a slate call pouch, and now I really have no use for it.
Well, you can still put it in the pouch. You got all your stuff together in one little compartment. I mean, you and I had talked about this, and the only thing I didn't like about it is it had a plastic hook on it, clasp, and then it had little slots to put your pegs in. And if you're running and gunning, it wouldn't take too much for something, a bush or a limb, to grab a hold of that and snap it off your vest without you knowing. Or if some of your strikers actually fell out, you wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good idea to have something that holds them all together, but put that in your vest.
Yeah, I have a box call pouch. I have 2 slate call pouches. I have my glass one and one, my slate one, and then it has 2 pouches for strikers on the side, and you can hold 2 strikers in each.
Okay.
It's got some pouches up on your chest.
Okay. All right. Well, what about some camouflage techniques or tactics or accessories?
Something cool would be to have is a ghillie suit, which fortunately I don't have.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet. And definitely something that you want to have is camo from toe to head.
Okay.
If they see any white or any a flash of a different color, just say you're wearing pink socks or something.
Well,
Yeah.
you're not accessorizing,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to make sure, if you sit down and your pants come up your legs, that you have long enough boots or different green socks or something maybe.
That is a common mistake that a lot of new turkey hunters make that they don't even realize they're making. You put on your white pair of tube socks, you put on your camo outfit and your hunting boots. And think about this, guys. When you sit down, if you don't have pants that tie at the bottom that you can actually tie to your boots, or if you don't have maybe some boots that come halfway up your calf or maybe even up to your knee, when you sit down, you're leaning against a tree. Well, you bring that knee, you sit down and you bring your knee up to rest your shotgun on to take the shot. What's going to happen? Your pants ride up and it exposes your socks. Well, if you got white tube socks on, hello, there's a big patch of white there showing. And old Mr. Tom's going to see that and run the other way.
It's kind of like having knee socks, hunting boots or tennis shoes.
Yeah, well, and most guys, like I said, new hunters don't really realize that. They don't think about that. And they may go a while and not ever even realize they're even doing it. Because, last thing you do is when you got a Tom in front of you, you're not looking at your socks.
Yeah.
But believe me, it shows. It's a big white patch that will show. And, it could be a pair of blue socks. It could be red, what, like
Pink,
you said,
like I said.
pink, whatever. Yeah, if you like to put your wife's socks on, if that's something you want to do, I'm not one to tell you not to. I'm just saying cover them up so the turkey.
Or keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself so the turkey don't see it. Another thing will happen, too, when you sit down and you start to reach up with your gun and shoulder it, is
Your sleeves.
your sleeves will ride up up on your past your elbow. They'll pull up. If you don't have gloves on that come up past your wrists,
Or like Velcro.
or Velcro straps around your shirt or your coat to where you can tie that down, those will ride up and exposes that patch of skin right there and right around your wrist. Well, that's another spot they can see.
This is another good thing that Under Armour's for.
You got that right. Under Armour that's camouflaged, or brown, or green, or black. Those are the key colors. Not pink, not blue, not white. Okay, wood type colors. That's what you want that stuff for. Now you said head to toe. What about around the head?
You probably want like a full 360 degree head mask.
Head mask, okay.
That you want eye holes in, obviously.
Eye holes and maybe a mouth hole or a nose hole. And even when you do that, take camo paint, camo makeup, and put that around your eyes and around your nose. Anything that's going to show. I mean, obviously, the only thing the only thing that a turkey should see from you besides camouflage is the whites of your eyes. Beyond that, he shouldn't see anything except camouflage, because obviously you can't. Well, I take that back. You can cover up your eyes. There's new sunglasses out.
Obviously, I can't use them
that are for people who
have glasses.
People who have glasses, they have to wear that, and that's something that'll actually cast a reflection or cast an image of light or whatever, and you got to be kind of careful about that too. But for guys who don't wear glasses, there's sunglasses out now that have camo pattern lenses over top of them, and you can actually see through them.
They're called Camo Vision.
Camo Vision sunglasses. So you can cover up the whites of your eyes. I mean, you can be completely oblivious to old Tom Turkey. He can be completely oblivious to you sitting out there if you do everything right.
One thing I don't get is why they call it Camo Vision, because obviously you wouldn't be able to see anything.
No, it's Camo Vision for the turkey, I think. But there's a lot of new products out there. So that's is that how you want to accessorize your camo outfit and your turkey tactics?
Yeah.
Okay. Now next week, I think we're going to go to a turkey seminar.
Yeah.
I belong to the Flint River chapter of the NWTF here in Flint, Michigan, and we're putting on our annual turkey seminar, bringing in a quote-unquote pro. What do you call pros?
Sponsored hunters.
Michael said there's no such thing as a pro hunter. They're sponsored hunters, and you know what? The first time I heard him say that, I cracked up and just died laughing, because you know what? That's the truth. There's nothing out there that gives you a certificate that says I'm a professional hunter. We're all hunters, and we all like to think we're good at it, some better than others. But the only difference between what they call a pro hunter and guys like us, they're sponsored. That's it. They get the equipment,
or maybe a guide.
Or a guide. They get the preferred equipment. They get the nice hunts given to them to go hunt places and things like that.
Guns given to them.
Guns and everything. Where guys like us, we struggle to make ends meet, and we do what we have to do to be able to get out in the woods.
I also kind of think that sponsored hunters are kind of like kids, how they get everything handed to them.
That's true. I will totally agree with you on that. Guys who get out and bust their rear end and just to be able to go out hunting, hats off to them, because that's the guys who truly. And I'm not saying these sponsored hunters don't like hunting. They do. They love to hunt. Don't get me wrong. It's just they have it easier than what we do. They get to go to the big places where big game is, where big trophy animals are, and it's a lot easier for them instead of just the average Joe Blow like you and me and everybody. Hopefully everybody that listens to this show is out there hunting, the same way we do, out there busting their rear ends and trying to make ends meet and doing it the hard way and the right way. So that's kind of the difference between what I call a pro hunter and us average Joe Blow hunters.
Yeah, except our name isn't Joe.
Most of them's not.
Yeah.
But that's Michael's take on what he calls a professional or a sponsored hunter. But
baby hunter.
But we're having one of these guys come in next week and talk turkey with us at the local seminar. And, we're going to pick his brain and try to get ideas and different tactics. And we're going to hopefully bring that to you next week. So, and after that, we're going to go out to the gun range and do a little bit of patterning. And a buddy of mine who's going to bring 2 of his daughters along for the seminar and going to the gun range. It's going to be their first turkey hunt this year, along with Mackenzie's. So we've got some new hunters that we're going to get out in the woods along with Jacob. He's going to go to Ohio with us, and we're going to get out there and get some shotgun patterns down for the kids. The guns that they're going to use and the ammo that they're going to use. So we're going to bring that to you next week on basic patterning of a shotgun. And, with everything else we've brought you, that should get you into the woods to be able to turkey hunt.
Yeah.
If not this year, maybe in the fall or maybe next year. Like you talked about Aaron, who was kind of unsure about the whole turkey situation and is not going to do it this year, but, wanted to know some more information. And there's a young guy out in Kansas that listens to the show, a 15-year-old guy who's going to go for his first turkey hunt. And I'm looking forward to hearing about his experience as a first-time hunter. So hopefully you can take some of this information, being a first-time hunter, and use it on your hunt and making it more enjoyable, more successful, and easier. And if not this year, then maybe next year. So it's kind of what this show's all about. Yeah. We've said that before. We just want to help you guys out, show you some things that's worked for us, some things that hasn't worked, some things we've run into, and things to watch out for. So...
And things that are cool.
There's, I love seeing stuff that's cool, especially when it has to do with hunting and fishing, new things. And,
like that robot that you saw.
Yeah, a little robot deal I seen on YouTube. That was crazy. We'll talk about that some other show. But so next week we'll cover the seminar, we'll cover the patterning, and maybe we can get into talking about how to set our decoys up. We've talked about decoys, and there's probably there are some definite tips and tactics of how to set these things up to draw those toms in. And, beyond that, that's everything except making the shot. And you guys out there, you're the one.
You have to do that by yourself.
You got to pull the trigger. We can't do that for you. And, we just want to make sure that you get the best possible opportunity to take a bird and enjoy your hunt. So that should just about cover it for turkey hunting until we actually get into the woods and bring you some stuff that's working for us at the time. So. We've talked about the turkey decoys, and we've talked about the shotgun camera thing here this week, and those two things kind of go along with some things we're going to field test. And actually, we started field testing the camera mount. I got some turkey decoys coming in this week that we're going to field test for Montana decoy.
I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Those are 2D decoys, and, we're used to these foam-bodied type turkey decoys. And this is a flat panel that we're going to put out in the woods, and it's got a photographic image on it.
Kind of like a sheet of plywood.
Yeah,
it looks like.
Yeah, for a better term, I mean that's what it is. But it's a life-size replica, flat replica of a turkey. And from what I've heard, guys that are using these Montana decoys are having good success with them. So it's a different thing, a different tool that I want to experience and see how it works. So we're going to put those to use this year. I don't have them here yet. I'm expecting them to come this week. And once we get those in, we get them out of the box and check them out. Next week we can talk about that if we have them in.
Put them in the yard, take a picture of them.
Yeah, we'll take pictures of them and show you kind of what we got. And then when we put them in the woods, we'll talk about that. So I've got those coming. And what else we got going on? We've got a new tent that we're going to try out this year. I've got to get with the guy. He's actually a distributor here in Michigan. And we're going to put one of those on our truck. It's a truck tent. And it's really cool, man. I seen this thing at a show. And we're going to put that to use when we go to Ohio. And hopefully,
maybe suckers.
When we go up sucker fishing here in 2, 3, 4 weeks.
I'm looking forward to that.
When the suckers start running, we're going to put that on there. So we're going to do some different testing of things. And one thing that we got asked to test through the North American Hunt Club that I belong to is they're asking us if we wanted to field test some new crow decoys.
I was glad to hear that.
And, yeah, Michael was grinning from ear to ear on that. So haven't heard a confirmation on that yet. Hopefully we've been chosen to do that, and if so, when we get those in, we're gonna put those to the test also. Yeah. Because we come a gnat's hair close to going crow hunting this weekend, and that's something that sounds like a load of fun, man. We've thrown some shots at some while we were out hunting before, but to get out and actively call them and hunt them, it's going to be a different game.
They can turn on a dime on them calls too.
So
they're gullible.
Yeah, they are. So we're going to try to get some of that going on. Now, the only other thing that we got coming up, hopefully, like I said at the beginning of the show, the ice is getting dangerous around here. So, we're getting ice out, what they call here in Michigan, first ice out, which means the ice is going to be gone. And once we get ice out, it's time to get the boat in the water and get after the crappie.
Yeah.
And you've been tying some different flies here recently now.
And I'm going to try to get some jig heads to tie some crappie jigs.
Okay. So that's something that we could do for crappie. They make you can actually tie a fly for crappie.
Yeah.
This fishing stuff to me, folks, is all brand new. I fished when I was a kid with my grandfather, and that was some of the best times of my life. But when it comes to fishing, I'll tell you right now, I'm ignorant to it. I can drown worms, but and I have a lot of fun doing that. But be even remotely close to giving you guys information, I can't do that because I don't know.
I can do it, though.
But Mikey here, he's the cat with the know on that. So we're going to try to get some crappies this year once, we get the ice off the water.
Do some fly fishing. I want to do that.
Do some fly fishing. So now you tied some flies this week. Tell everybody what you were working on this week.
This week I was working on some. I tied a few crayfish. They look pretty cool, and actually I got some guy that wants to buy them off me on Michigan Sportsman.
Okay.
I haven't got a personal message back from him yet, and I tied some clouser minnows. Some things are pretty sweet.
Now, what would you use the crayfish fly for?
Everyone says use them for bass. Some guy told me a trout would probably take the one that I tied.
Okay.
And maybe even a carp would take it.
Okay. Now you're talking like crayfish, like what? The size, maybe what, inch and a half long?
Actually, no, the ones that I tied are about 2-3 inches long.
Okay, so it's a bigger hook and a bigger type fly.
Size 8 hook.
Okay. So it actually looks like a little crayfish. Yeah. It's got little arms on it and appendages and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, got some little antennas on it that I tied with fishing line.
Okay. And now you said you tied that clouser minnow. You tied them last night.
Yeah, I tied 3 of them last night. Actually, I stayed up a little bit too late.
Now, for those who don't know, and obviously I don't know either, what do you use those for?
You use them for mostly bass, or you can use it for anything that will take a bait fish, like maybe even a jumbo perch or something like that.
Okay.
And it's probably about 2 inches long, and it has a little dumbbell weight on the front of it with painted eyes, and when you throw it, it goes down to the bottom. And when you give it hard jerks and let it sit for a while, a few more hard jerks, it looks like an injured bait fish coming up off the bottom.
Okay, so it's mimicking an injured bait fish, or an injured minnow.
Yeah, and you just fish it on the edge of grass lines or weed beds or structure. Okay,
so that just it's got the colored hair on top of it. Now, is that just to create some flash to draw attention to it?
Yeah, you use bucktail on it and you use some crystal flash in between them.
Okay.
2 different colors. I got yellow and chartreuse.
Okay, now the crystal flash, that's the actual body for, it makes it look like the fish.
It makes it look like scales.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to have to get out there and try them out too.
Yeah.
And you tied a couple flies for our buddy Ken Johnson, who we did the interview with last week. He's going on a trout fishing trip down to Arkansas, hopefully, because those guys down there, Missouri and Arkansas, have been flooded this year. Or at the last week, they've had heavy torrential rains, and the rivers are swollen. A lot of flooding down there, and actually, he's a little concerned as how that's going to affect his trip because they're leaving, I think, in about 2.5 weeks from now, if I'm not mistaken.
You should go duck hunting down there.
Yeah, well, that'll be in the fall, but he's going to go down there for that, and you got those flies done for him. So we're going to hopefully get some feedback on how Michael's fly tying ability has helped him on his trip. Hopefully.
Well, I know it's worked because we tried them up north.
Yeah, we tried them on the trout up north, and actually did pretty well with them there on the pond. There.
Yeah, they tore them up.
Yeah, little green woolly booger and black woolly boogers that we used up there.
They were just a booger when they were done.
Yeah, there was not much left because they really tore those flies up. But that's just kind of some of the things we've been doing here lately. You've been working on the flies, and we got the coyote hunt together, and now we're starting to get into turkey season, thinking about that and getting that trip planned, and we're actively going to be getting quite a bit in the planning stages here in the next 2 weeks.
Start getting stuff ready for Ohio.
Yeah, getting our Ohio trip ready. So, getting all that down pat. Now, on our blog site, my regular Up North Journal hunting blog, I've got a checklist there on that website for scouting, turkey scouting, things that you would need to take with you on a turkey scouting trip, whether it be in your local backwoods, nearby area, or wherever, even out of state. It's a quick checklist of some items that you need to take with you, and just go check that out, and you guys can print that out if you want, or whatever you want to do, cut and paste it. It's there to use. And what we're going to do for our out-of-state hunting trip for the turkey is we're going to put a checklist together for ourselves, and I'll put that online also for you to check out. So beyond that, I think that's about all I got this week. You got anything else you want to cover?
No.
All set?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as always, another fun-filled week here at the Up North Journal, and I expect the same next week.
With good weather.
Actually, next week they're going to draw for that new Benelli turkey gun at the turkey seminar, and I've got 2 tickets, and I'm hoping I might be able to buy a couple more before they actually do the drawing if they got them left. So I may come up next week bragging about a new gun. That'd be cool.
The gun's sweet.
But we got that to look forward to next week. So. Well, we should have another fun-filled week of things to bring in, and tips and tricks and who knows what else. So, but if that'll do it for you, I guess that'll do it for me too.
Yep, that'll do it for me.
All right. Well, remember, as always, we like to say, if you're out in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.